Hey everyone, so this week we're learning about the community research essay, and I really just want you to focus this week on assignment guidelines and brainstorming topic ideas for the essay. So thinking about the structure of the essay isn't really a concern or something to think about yet. It's a little too early, but I just want you to know ahead of time that structuring a research essay is really important because it's officially the APA format paper that we want. So it needs to have particular section headings and title page format. So I just wanted to take the time just to give you an idea of what section headings formats your final drafts will eventually look like. So APA format requires a title page, but not just a regular title page. It needs to have this information on it where there's a page number in the top right corner. The title of your essay, whatever you want to call it, give it some kind of unique title, not community research essay. Title of your essay, and if you notice, it's bolded and it's a little bit higher up than everything else. And then your name, the school name, course name, instructor name, and the date that the research essay is due. So that is what the title page should look like, exactly like this, but you fill in the information with your own information. So this is how it should look. APA went through an update, so you're going to see student samples where the title page looks a little different. This is the 7th edition of APA format that we're following, so it's new, so this is how it should be. So if you notice the student samples look a little different with the title page, that's probably what's going on. So use this template as a guide. And then your essay starts on page 2. You want to have these exact section headings, and notice how they're bolded and centered. That's also an important APA rule. It's part of the grading rubric, so you can lose points that way. If little points here and there can help. If you notice there's a 2 in the top right corner, so you want to follow that for the rest of the essay. Instead of putting introduction here, you want to continue the title of your essay, whatever you're titling it, that unique title that you're giving it. You want to put that here, centered and bolded. For the introduction paragraph, what you want to do is you want to provide background information about your topic. Background context is what we call it. So you don't need to use any of your sources in the introduction unless it's really relevant. But it's called contextualizing your topic because you're explaining the history of your topic, what groups are impacted by it, locations, why it's an issue, if it's a serious problem that you're writing about, or why it's discussed. This is all just you talking from the top of your head about your topic. So you want to choose a research topic that you have a general understanding about. You certainly are learning with this topic, but you don't want to choose a topic that's too mysterious to you, where you're going to have to constantly be looking up information. You want a happy medium where you know a little bit about the topic so that you're comfortable writing about the background of it. If you need to look up little things here and there, that's okay. But you want to be comfortable enough to write an introduction paragraph off the top of your head without having to rely on sources in that introduction paragraph. And then you end, of course, with a thesis statement. And since all of these essays that we write in class are different from each other, they're different genres, the thesis is different here. When you plan a topic, you come up with a research question. And the answer to your research question is your thesis statement for this essay. So that's something to think about. Something that's normal that you might think about, but don't forget, is it's normal to write a thesis statement last, after you've completed the essay, where you go back to the introduction, you write your thesis based on what your section headings were about and your different viewpoints. That might be something that I'd advise too, because sometimes people struggle with a thesis statement and they might be struggling because they haven't even started the essay yet. And the essay, based on the sources you find, the different viewpoints you're going to write about, it may change as you write because it depends on what sources exist out there with your topic. So sometimes just going back and writing your thesis at the end, the answer to your research question could happen, but don't forget to write it in the introduction because I could understand why that could happen. After your introduction paragraphs aren't too long because, again, they're just that background information on your topic. They're not the overall purpose of the essay, so you don't want it to take up too much of your writing. 5 sentences is a good, happy paragraph development. The next section that your essay will talk about is the first viewpoint to your topic. So whatever your topic is, you're going to separate it into two different viewpoints because you're not arguing one-sided here. You're doing an unbiased research report. And something is unbiased where you write about more than one viewpoint to your topic. So whatever your first viewpoint is, you want to give it a title here for the first section heading after the introduction. Whatever is related to that first viewpoint, describe it in a few words, center it and bold it, and that is the title of this section. There's a couple paragraphs here, however many paragraphs you want, definitely more than one because you don't want one really long paragraph. But you want a few paragraphs here, so use topic sentences to organize each paragraph around that opening sentence. But you're going to use at least two sources in this first viewpoint section that validate and bring in conversation and proof to the first viewpoint. And this is where you're going to incorporate in-text citations and APA format to give credit to the sources used. You can use more than two sources, I encourage it, but you want at least two. If there's just one source, it means that synthesizing isn't occurring. And synthesizing is when an author uses more than one source to have a conversation about a topic. So you can't have a conversation with just one source. You're kind of the puppet master in a research essay where you're writing your own observations about these viewpoints to your topic, and you're using the sources to validate, to prove these observations. It's as if the two sources are talking to each other about it. So you can't have a conversation with just one. Once you're done with that first viewpoint, you need a second viewpoint, because if you ended the paper there, it would sound like a biased, one-sided argument, which you don't want. You're doing an unbiased topic that examines at least two different viewpoints, perspectives, ideas, opinions, whatever word you want to call it. So your second viewpoint section, give it a new title, describe it in a few words, and center it and bold it. And again, a few paragraphs that talks about this new separate viewpoint. And you want to use at least two sources as well here. That's why the grand total on the assignment guidelines is at least 4 sources total, because 2 sources go here, another 2 go here. You can use more, but the minimum is 4. You do the exact same thing. You have a conversation, so you need at least 2 sources about that second viewpoint. And you're proving that you're using sources with in-text citations and APA format. When you're done with that, you're ready for the conclusion. So center it, bold it, title it conclusion. For the conclusion, don't summarize your essay. The point of a research essay is to bring new ideas to your topic. You're adding to this web of a topic. So your research report adds to that web, which is really cool. You're adding new knowledge and information to this topic. So summarizing it kind of makes the topic die a little bit. You want to bring life to the topic continuously. So in the conclusion, you want to offer an opinion to your topic, especially if you have a strong opinion, because you can't share your opinion in the essay. So if you want to talk about your opinion in the conclusion, that's perfect. Topics are endless for this research essay. Sometimes they're very pro-con. For example, the student sample you'll see in class is going to be, the student wrote the benefits and disadvantages of zoos, where the first viewpoint was about zoos, and the second, the benefits that zoos offer to the public, and then the second viewpoint was about the negative aspects of zoos in society. So that was very pro-con. So if your topic is pro-con, that's a good chance to divide the viewpoints in that way. However, don't pressure yourself to write a pro-con paper if you're not interested in writing a pro-con paper. Different viewpoints don't have to be that polarizing. I'll give you an example, something that you can write about. I have students who are interested in astrology. So one viewpoint they write about is the scientific study of astrology. And then the second viewpoint talks about the obsession with astrology that some people have and society has or social media has. That's not a very pro-con topic, and that's fine. It's that the first viewpoint talked about the science of it and argued about why it's a science. The second viewpoint talked about society's obsession with it. So 2 totally different viewpoints on a topic. So whatever your topic is in the conclusion, offer your opinion about it. Do you connect more to a certain viewpoint? What do you think the topic will be like in the future? This is a good one to write about if your topic isn't very pro-con. You know, what do you think the impacts of this topic will be like in the future? What will it be like? How will the world be affected by it? Who will be affected by it? Why did you choose this topic to write about? What is your personal connection to it? Any of that kind of why opinionated statement is perfect to save for in the conclusion. And then you need the reference page. Title it References, bolded and centered, as you'll see in the samples as we progress. But it does need to be on a new page after the conclusion. So when your conclusion is done, make a new page. Reference page is a list of all your sources alphabetized in APA format. So if you have any questions about in-text citations and or reference page stuff, now is the time to meet with me. Even if you don't have sources yet, that's fine. If you're just learning about this essay right now, this is the time to meet with me for any of those APA questions, because that's a significant part of your grade. But I just wanted to go over this so that you have an idea on the required sections and information for this essay. If y'all have any questions, I'm here to help you out. Happy researching.